Hey guys, welcome back to the video. So today we're with Texas Parks and Wildlife Inland Fisheries once again to talk more about fish. We've been doing that for a few videos now just to educate kids, families at home, maybe even bringing in some activities. But today we're going to learn a little bit more, not just like the fish anatomy that we learned last time, but this time the different types of fish. And so we're today with Mike. He's been in some videos before. Can you reintroduce yourself, please?
Yeah, sure. I'm Mike Homer with Texas Parks and Wildlife Inland Fisheries Division out of the Abilene District Office, and I am the district supervisor.
Awesome. So can you share with us the different types of fish?
Yeah, so just to kind of tie everything that Glenn and you had discussed last week with the fish anatomy, you know, the one thing that I wanted to educate folks on is that you can tell a lot about a fish and how it lives based on the way that it looks.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of diversity in fishes around the world. Something around the realm of about 32,000 known species across fresh and salt water, with roughly half being in salt and then even just a little bit under half in freshwater.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and a lot of that just has to do with habitat complexity and separation over space and time. And so we won't get into all that because it's very complicated, but
Yeah.
you know, behind us on this backdrop are replicas of fish that you would find out here in the big country.
Okay.
So like, for example, just behind you, as we're talking about adaptations and
Yeah.
fish, you know, these fish here are laterally compressed fish. So I mean, they're
Okay.
squeezed from the side. That body shape helps them get in and out of vegetation. A lot of people like to call those fish perch. They're not, they're sunfishes. They're part of the centrarchid family. One really well-known, or two other really well-known centrarchids are your crappies, which are really popular sport fish out here in West Texas, and then of course the ever-famous largemouth bass.
Okay.
So our most popular sport fish in Texas.
Yeah, and there's also different types of fish too, because there's also the catfish. You were mentioning about that one earlier.
Absolutely. So catfish support a really huge fishery in Texas.
Okay.
In fact, they're growing every day as far as popularity. But this here is blue catfish. They're found in a number of our lakes, and they're also the 4th largest species of freshwater fish in North America.
Oh, wow.
And catfishes are really cool in that they lack scales. At least our family of North American catfishes do. That is because they're going in darker, deeper water environments that may have obstacles like rocks, limbs, things that offer a lot of potential for them to get caught on.
And so with the scales, that would be harmful for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If a scale got caught, it could cause bodily injury.
Okay.
Another thing is that catfish just have barbels, and that enables them to have a sense of smell because they don't really rely. Look at the size of those eyes; they're pretty tiny, right?
Yeah.
So they rely more so on their sense of smell and taste. Their bodies are actually lined with taste cells. So just imagine being able to set your hand on something and be able to taste what's on it.
Yeah, that'd be very
So
interesting
that's why,
right there.
like, when people are fishing for them, they got to use the stinky baits.
Okay.
So
That's interesting.
You know, something to consider if you're fishing for these things.
Yeah. What's another type of fish? Because there's lots of different types.
Yep. So let's talk about another bait fish. You know,
Okay.
we see large schools of shads. Shads support a large dominant prey source for many of our sport fishes in our reservoirs. You know, you've got two different kinds. You've got threadfin shad, and they don't really get as big as, say, the gizzard shad. But both of them are what we call pelagic or open water species. They are in large schools. Blue cats love them. Our gars love them. You know, bass will eat them if they're close by, but they tend to feed more so on your zooplankton, so maybe some smaller insects that we can't see very well.
Okay.
But you know, one thing you can tell about them being open water is that they have these deeply forked tails, kind of a more torpedo-shaped body, and that's just for them to be able to continue cruising.
I see. Okay.
So you think about fins being kind of like a hydrofoil or like an airplane. So,
Okay.
Yeah, you can tell a lot about how fish is and how their action is based on fin shape too.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah.
So, another group of species are true bass, which we've got white bass, hybrid stripers, and then in like in Possum Kingdom, we actually have pure striped bass.
Okay.
So, and they are major feeders on shad. They love shad.
Dang,
So-
lots of different types of fish.
Yes.
Well, glad that you could teach us a lot about the different types and where we can find them, just learning about the freshwater fish. And like you said, there's so many different types we could go into.
Oh,
so
yeah.
many different things to learn, but glad that you can teach us about that. So.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of resources on the Parks and Wildlife website. You know,
Yes.
if we haven't covered something in this video, you know, anybody can go onto the Parks and Wildlife website on
Okay.
the fishing tab, and they can learn about these species.
So what's the website?
It's www.tpwd.texas texasspelledout.gov.
All right, yeah. Well, we'll be sure to provide that link below. And so thanks you guys for joining us today, and we will see you guys next time for our next video. Thanks. Bye.